Hey guys, Sheri Ann Richerson from Experimental Homesteader Exotic Gardening and SheriAnnRicherson.com. The new URL just slipped my mind because, well, I have a lot going on today. My daughter, one of my daughters, I have two, thinks that I am really funny and really animated and said to me last night, why didn't I show that on video? Well, because I don't think I'm funny or animated at all. But I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes look at some of the stuff that we deal with on a daily basis here on the homestead. So get ready for this. There are the beautiful plants that bloom, except the weeds grew up so much last year because the equipment broke down that we haven't got all of the weeds removed from around the plants. So you see the beautiful plants and you see all the weeds and brush that still need to be cleaned up. I got 2.5 acres of this. And then there are the beautiful plants that bloom, but the frost comes because, well, you always got to have a late frost, and this is what those plants look like. And then you have the eternal weed eating. This is a really good one. These are cockle burls, and when the grass gets too tall and these things go to bloom, you end up with these all over your animal's fur. You end up with these all over your clothing, your shoes, and believe me, they hurt. And when you have a dog and the dog comes inside, sometimes these things get on your couch and your bed. Not fun at all. The really fun part is when you end up with grass that literally is up to the back of your knees. This is not quite there yet, but every summer I end up with patches of grass someplace on this property that is way taller than what it should be. When equipment breaks down, weed eaters, lawnmowers, all of that stuff, and you have to replace it, it actually takes a lot of money to do that, unless of course you're handy, which neither one of us are. So it's sending the equipment out, waiting on someone else's time schedule to get it fixed, paying for it, and then getting it back. So those are expenses you need to think about, not to mention vet expenses when an animal gets sick and it's beyond something you can take care of yourself at home. Brush piles like this one, where you have cut up some wood and put it aside, make wonderful places for groundhogs to burrow into. Of course you don't want that, but you also end up with snakes and other critters, rabbits, and they love areas like this. And sometimes literally all you have time to do is cut up the wood and make a pile of it someplace on the property. Then there's the fun of trying to get the garden tilled. I was going to have this garden tilled so I could get the vegetables planted, and the other day I got on the Boland's tractor. We got it fired up. I drove about 1/3 of the way down the driveway and it shut down. Got it fired up, drove another 1/3 of the driveway, it shut down. Got it fired up. I drove all the way up here to this hill that I'm backing up and showing you. To about right here, you can see how very close I was, and it shut down. So then they got it started. I drove it up to right here, dropped the tines, and she shut down. And we decided that it's going to have some work done to it, probably some carburetor cleaning before this gets tilled. And it is the end of April. This should have been tilled and had stuff planted in it already. So what that means is my garden's going to be behind if we get an early frost in the fall. There's a lot of things that may not make it into harvest, meaning the food in my pantry that I preserve is going to be really short and probably needs supplementing this winter. And then there are the late blooming fruit trees. These are plums. They should have been in bloom at least a month ago. They're just now in bloom. The peaches over there haven't bloomed at all yet. So what does that mean? Well, the same thing as the vegetables. We might get fruit and we might not. It all depends on how long it takes to get to harvest and when that first fall frost comes in. And now we're back up here with Jeffrey. Who is making very nice progress here on getting this done. Are you going to say hi?
Say hi.
Yeah.
Say hi.
Yeah, he looks thrilled today. That would be because as I was out mowing, attempting to get some of this taken care of, the tire wanted to come off of the lawnmower. So the bottom line is, homesteading is a lot of fun. It's really great to be self-sufficient, have a small piece of land that's your own, be able to grow all of your own food, raise your own food, have animals. All of that is really, really great. But it's not a walk in the park. It's not exactly the same as doing it on a city yard where you grow a few of your own plants, and if you're lucky, you have a little bit of extra to put away for winter use. I've lived in both the city most of my life, moved here in 2004. In between, I did live on a 50-acre farm for a while. And I have to say, really, if you don't have mechanical skills, you need to be prepared financially, because there is equipment you're going to need. Like I said, there's repairs you're going to have. None of that is free. Animals get sick. Vet visits cost. Even if you can do it yourself, you've got to have medicine to keep on hand, and you've got to do things like trim their hooves, trim toenails, depending on the type of animal you have. You have to have feeders, you have to have waters. It's not fun carrying a 5-gallon bucket of water from the house to the barn in the wintertime. Believe me, that's been the situation here almost every single winter. It's not fun cleaning stalls. It really is a lot of hard work, just like cleaning a chicken coop. It's a lot of hard work. So, while I know a lot of the shows make it look so peaceful and romantic, and it's sun up to sundown and a little bit beyond sundown if you really want to get all the work done. And I see all the time people buy their house, they buy their piece of land, they move their family onto it, or they move themselves if they're, you know, a single person or a single parent, and take their kids with them. And 3 months down the road, they are absolutely beside themselves. What do they do? Because they didn't realize the work the animals were going to cost. They thought the animals would pay for themselves. They don't. It's not that you can't make money, because you certainly can, and I certainly have. But don't expect the animals to pay for 100% of their upkeep. They're not, especially if you feed organic feed like I do. My chickens, I don't make near what I put into them. I never did with my goats. I had a small amount of animals, and yes, I sold eggs. Yes, I sold baby goats. I had a few customers that bought milk for making soap. I certainly made soap myself and sold that. But at the end of the year, we had put out $12,000 in expenses and didn't make not near that back. So think about it. Be prepared. I'm not saying not do it, because I wouldn't want to live in the city. I wouldn't want to give this up. But I'm saying don't think it's an easy answer to the growing number of problems, such as high fuel costs, you know, high grocery bills, all the issues you encounter living in the city. Homesteading is definitely not easy, but like I said, very, very worth it. So thumbs up, thumbs down, comments below. Thanks for watching, and I hope all of you are having a great weekend.